All right, so let's work a problem together. If we read this one together, if the acceleration of a roller coaster is 19 meters per second squared, that's about twice the acceleration of gravity. So if it's accelerating faster than gravity can make it accelerate, you couldn't just let the roller coaster free fall, right? So this would not be like Rip Ride Rocket, where you go, isn't that what that one's called? Rock and roller, whatever it is. The red one at Universal, where you go up and then straight down. That's accelerating faster than gravity, so you couldn't do that. It has to be a forced thing, right? So like the Velocicoaster at Universal now, where they slam you forward kind of thing, right? How long will it take the roller coaster to go from 2 meters per second to 44 meters per second, right? So job number one, we want to look through here and make our list. So as we do this stuff, I look at this and I see 19 meters per second squared. Okay, so that is my acceleration. I can tell that because it tells me if the acceleration is this, and I can also use the units, meters per second squared. How long will it take? So there's more information. That is time, right? I'm looking for time. Will it take for the roller coaster to go from 2 meters per second to 44 meters per second? So that's two different velocities. 2 meters per second would be an initial, 44 would be a final. So I'm going to go through this whole thing and make my list. 2 meters per second is my initial, 44 is my final. My acceleration is 19 meters per second squared. We're looking for time. Oh, that should be a lowercase a. It's not that big of a deal, but it auto-corrected it to an uppercase A. So I start looking through my list of my equations. I'm looking for something that has those four things and nothing else. So as we look through our equations, I'll give you a second to do that. Well, I guess you can just pause me and do that, right? So as I look through my four equations, I see this one is the one that I would want to use. I have a VF, I have a VI, I have an acceleration, and a time. Again, that should be a lowercase a, not that big of a deal. Now, what I'm solving for is acceleration. So it's not like already set up to solve for me, but I'm solving for acceleration there. So then I've done my first two steps. I wrote the list and I made my equation. So now I want to go ahead and plug into my equation. It is hard to throw units very well when you're typing, but we really should throw units into these things. So if you're not already, start trying to practice putting your units in your equations. It will help make sure things cancel out correctly and stuff, right? So I've got this 44 meters per second equals 2 meters per second plus 19 meters per second squared times time. Now it might seem strange. How does that meters per second squared cancel out? Well, when you multiply it by time, that'll get rid of one of those seconds. So everything in this thing will be in terms of meters per second, right? Because you've got the seconds on top here and 2 seconds on bottom. So they will cancel out. I'm pointing to my screen with my pen, like you can see that. All right, so then we combine terms. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, right? We've had a few people who've wanted to combine over here first, but that's a 19t and that's a 2. So I can't combine those, right? That's just like in algebra. You can't combine 2x and 2 to be 4x. If it's 2x plus 2, it's not 4x. It's 2x plus 2. You got to get rid of that 2 first. So I'm going to get rid of this 2. So subtract 2 from both sides. That's 42 equals 19t. So then to get t by itself, I just divide both sides by 19. And that's going to get 42 divided by 19. And so it would take us 2.2 seconds to go from 2 meters per second, which is like a brisk walking pace, to 44 meters per second, which is in the range of like 90, 95 miles an hour. So in 2 seconds. So that is a really fast acceleration, right? You would definitely feel that. Most people have trouble handling much over a couple of G's, right? So I don't know the exacts, but I don't think they would run a roller coaster at 2 Gs. I should. That's a thing I should probably know. Anyway, hope that helps. There are other videos like this on the eCampus and on the YouTube channel, so feel free to look at those too.